Let's bring in one of the better rookies in the National Football League. Not a bad title to give to someone from Knoxville, Tennessee. Started Catholic, went on to a terrific career at Notre Dame, and lived up to his first-round draft pick status for the Minnesota Vikings. That would be Knoxville's own Harrison Smith. Joining us here on the new Sentinel Sports Page, brought to you by Image Matters. Hey, Harrison, Vince Ferrara, and Jesse Smithey. How you doing, Harrison?
Good. How are y'all?
We're great. Hey, congrats on this rookie year. When now that your season is over for you, take a deep breath. What stands out to you about your rookie year?
The thing that stands out is just how long the whole process is, from going from your last year of college and then going, playing in any all-star game that you might play in, then training for the combine, going through the draft, getting used to your team. It's such a long year. But then you look back when it's over and see everything that's happened, all the guys that you've met, all the players that you've played with. And it's just kind of a wild ride that first year.
Harrison, I know you've trained extensively, even back into your high school years with Charlie Patrone here locally, and I know you're probably one of the more well-conditioned athletes probably in the NFL, but did you hit that rookie wall that sometimes you hear about physically?
I definitely was aware of a rookie wall. I wouldn't say that I hit it, and I think part of that is all the training that I have done over the years, especially with Patron, just kind of preparing me not only physically but mentally when you reach, a wall that tells you to stop or slow down, that you can push right through it, and it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing.
Harrison, you were second on the team in tackles with 103, tied for the lead in interceptions. You had 2 interception returns for a touchdown. What were you hoping for, though, in your first season in the NFL? Did you have a benchmark in mind? It'd be nice to get to 50, 60 tackles, anything like that?
Obviously the number one thing is helping the Vikings win. We were a 3-win team the year previous, so I wanted to be part of the group that turns that around, and that was the number one goal. And then personally, I wrote down some goals. I looked at what the first round safeties had done, I think from now all the way back until Sean Taylor is when I picked, and I just saw what every single one of them did, and then I averaged them out, and I saw what their tackles were, what their interceptions were, passes defended, and I wanted to hit at least all those averages. So I set a bunch of goals and just made sure that I hit them.
What were those averages in?
I have them all written down. I actually, I think it was around. I'm not sure. I've got it all on my computer. I made a little sheet that I checked off.
Little spreadsheet.
But did you hit a lot of them, Harrison?
I actually hit all of them.
Wow.
So yeah, I think it actually helped having something to aim for.
We're visiting with Harrison Smith, terrific rookie safety for the Minnesota Vikings, here on the new Sentinel Sports Page. Vince Ferrara, Jesse Smithey. Let's hit on that Green Bay Packers game in the playoffs. It was the third time you guys had seen them. Here you are in the playoffs, and now there's a change at the quarterback position. What was your feeling having that news going into that game? What was your feeling now that things have changed there at the last minute for your team in that venue in the playoffs?
To us, on the defensive side of the ball, nothing changed. We had a lot of faith in Joe Webb going in there and making plays. He had looked good in practice, and we'd always, seen the type of competitor that he is. So we had faith in him, and so we just wanted to go out and play the game plan that we had already set up for our defense. Things didn't go exactly how we wanted to do, how we wanted them to, but at the end of the day, we try to control what we can control.
Harrison, in those games, you played Green Bay 3 times. Of course, they have Randall Cobb over there on their side. What was that like playing against him and having 2 local guys on that stage?
It's definitely cool getting to see another guy from Alcoa, playing for a division rival. I think the first time that we played him, I was covering a punt and he was returning the punt. He fair caught it, and we went over and said, "What's up?" So it's kind of funny just having those little things during games that fans don't know about, where you say, "Hey, how you doing?" or whatever, and it's like the middle of the ball game.
But y'all never conversed through the season or anything like that?
No, we never really knew each other when we were here. I think we ran against each other in track, and he smoked me. But no, we didn't converse until after the games. We would see how each other's doing.
Harrison, the season that Adrian Peterson had for the Minnesota Vikings this year, you had a firsthand look at just how incredible that was. Can you somehow put into words what you saw over that 16-game span of what he did coming back from that injury and how incredible it was?
Yeah, I mean, he's there's really not a lot of words that that can describe what he does, and it's you see a lot of really talented guys that they might work hard. But take a day off here or there, or some guys will just rely on their talent. He's the most talented guy that I've ever seen, and he has the best work ethic that I've ever seen. Like he mentally just doesn't stop. He never stops, and it's I don't know how he is the way he is, but he is, and he's just a freak show. And as soon as he didn't get the record, he was 9 yards short of breaking Eric Dickerson's record. In the locker room, he wasn't even that mad. He was just like, you know what, I'm going to shatter it next year, and that's just the type of person that he is. He's just relentless. He's just not going to stop until he wins.
After that game at the end of the regular season, Harrison, the sideline reporter asked him, told him that he was just 9 yards away from it, and he looked and he said, "Really? Was that close?" He acted like he did not know. Do you believe that he didn't know where he was in that pursuit for that record?
He probably didn't, because there wasn't like a huge counter that you could look around the stadium and find. But yeah. He just runs so hard. He had like 200 yards in that game, anyways. And there was plenty of games early on in the year where we just kind of gave him a few carries, just because we were, they were worried about his knee. So if he had started the year really healthy, I honestly believe he would have beat that record by about 500 yards.
Harrison, for you personally, take me back to your interception return for a touchdown. Take me through the play and what it was like to score an NFL touchdown.
Well, that first one we were playing the Cardinals, and it was a play where I got to kind of be the spy, get to watch the quarterback and kind of try to see who the open receivers are. And, we got some pressure on him. I dropped down and jumped in front of the ball right when he threw it. And then I ended up starting to run to the left, but there were some people over there. So I cut back to the right, and I got a few blocks, and then headed over to that right sideline and got in the end zone. It was there were some pretty funny blocks on it. Jared Allen got a good one on one of the linemen. So it was fun to watch.
What type of weird initiations do you have to go through as an NFL rookie? I know there's probably some that you may not want to disclose, but how are you treated by teammates as an NFL rookie?
Our team, they were good to us. As they kind of, they helped us out whenever we needed it. You can ask them questions, football, non-football, and they'll help you out. But there is initiation. In training camp, they made us perform for the team. So I ended up having to sing to them, which is pretty embarrassing, but it was funny, and everybody ended up having a good time.
What song did you have to sing?
It's kind of your choice. I actually sang the Ignition remix by R. Kelly, but I played guitar to it, like an acoustic version. It was pretty bad, but at the same time, everybody just wants to laugh. So the more you can get them to laugh, the better it is.
How is that not on YouTube right now?
There is a non-video recording clause.
Oh, okay. Good. That's a good policy to have, I guess.
Nice. Joined by Harrison Smith, Catholic product, Notre Dame, Fighting Irish standout now with the Minnesota Vikings. Hey, Harrison, who gave you guys the most trouble? If it's an individual offensive player, who was in your rookie year the toughest to defend that gave you guys the most trouble?
I mean, Calvin Johnson and Brandon Marshall are obviously probably the two best receivers in the league, and they're, play in our division. And they're obviously guys that we have coverages made up to where we have two guys covering those guys sometimes. But I think as receivers, definitely those guys. But then Aaron Rodgers is a guy that it's just tough to play against, just because he doesn't ever get sacked, and he just kind of moves around and waits, buys his time, lets his receivers get open because you can't cover him that long, and then he just finds them, just kind of throws them the ball real nonchalant, like it's real easy. So he's the number one guy that I think is hard to play against.
Who do you like in the NFC Championship?
I'm thinking the Niners. I just think they play great defense and special teams, and Kaepernick's, he's kind of opened up their offense. So I think they're gonna get by.
Just how good is Colin Kaepernick right now? What do you think the ceiling is for him? How much better can he get?
I mean, he's obviously a very talented guy. He's also deceptively fast because he's just breaking those long runs that last game. But I played against him when he was in college, actually, when he was at Nevada, and they ran that pistol offense, and they kind of are doing some things that he was doing in college. What makes it difficult to defend is that not a lot of people in the pros do it. You saw Robert Griffin III do it a little bit this year, maybe Cam Newton. Just that it's kind of that Oregon type, zone read, and it's hard on the outside linebackers or the DNs. Saw that last game, so I think that's something that NFL guys, NFL D coordinators aren't used to defending. So I just think that's what has really opened it up right now. Somebody will find an answer to it, and then they'll have to tweak their offense again.
Who do you like in the AFC Championship game?
It's hard to root against the Patriots just because, Brady always finds a way to win. I like watching the Ravens play, though. But I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be the Patriots versus the Niners in the Super Bowl.
And then who do you got winning it all?
I'm gonna go Niners. I just think they got too many good players on the defensive side of the ball with a potent offense now. I think they had like 8 or 9 Pro Bowlers, so I think they're doing a lot of good things over there.
Joined by Harrison Smith of the Minnesota Vikings. Harrison, this rookie year is now over for you. Kind of take us through what some of the things you're going to be focusing on here in your off season and trying to get better for year 2.
Well, right now I'm, all the vets and my coaches told me to take time off. They said don't do anything for 3 or 4 weeks. So I'm gonna take their advice and seriously not do anything. Just let the body and the mind recover, and then I'll get back into it. Kind of slowly work into it because you don't want to peak too soon. It's a long off season. Got to go through training camp again. So just kind of ease into the workouts, make sure I'm still in shape, can run, jump, still strong. So nothing too crazy right now, but just kind of slowly get better and better as you approach the season.
Harrison, you mentioned a few minutes ago your goals for your rookie season and the statistical marks you wanted to get to as a first-year safety. What do you think, looking into year 2, could be some possible goals for you?
I'll definitely look at what the top safeties around the league did this year, and try to hit those benchmarks. I think like I said, first and foremost is helping the Vikings win, get to the NFC Championship, get to the Super Bowl and win that. And that's something that is in our grasp now. I think we shocked a lot of people this year, so I think we can do that next year too. And then personally, I think once you get into this league and kind of establish yourself as a good player, everybody wants to go to the Pro Bowl, and so I mean that's something that would be awesome to do in the future. But at the end of the day, I play to win, so what I want to do is get to the Super Bowl and win that.
Well, Harrison, enjoy your time just putting your feet up and chilling a little bit. We appreciate the time. Congratulations again on your awesome rookie year. It was fun to follow you all season long, and we appreciate the time. Have a super weekend, Harrison.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks. That's Harrison Smith of the Minnesota Vikings.